It all began in 2005 with a simple invitation. A couple of Buddhist practitioners had recently retired to Florida. They knew the harshness of Michigan winters and felt compassion for the monks at Dhammasala Forest Monastery in Perry, Michigan. So, in February 2005, they invited several monks from Dhammasala to spend a few weeks in Florida. The word quickly spread that there were forest monks staying in Florida. People began to come offer food and hear a Dhamma talk. Soon, however, the monks returned to their monastery in Michigan. The winter pilgrimage to Florida continued for several years. Finally, in 2011, Tan Natakun was invited to spend the Rains Retreat in Florida. The community rented a house, and a more consistent schedule was set up. At the time of Rains Retreat, the community had gathered some money, and it was decided to form a nonprofit organization, the Buddhist Association of Central Florida, or BACF. BACF was formed with the goals in mind to raise enough support to found a Buddhist monastery in the Thai forest tradition. Fundraising efforts continued on a regular basis, and a search for a suitable location began. After several years of searching for a suitable location, a forested area in South Sarasota County in the village of Englewood, Florida, came to be on the market. BACF contacted the seller and negotiated a price contingent upon receiving favorable zoning designation by the county. In January 2015, BACF hired a zoning consultant and began preparing for the zoning process. The process included 3 public hearings. During the first hearing, the neighbors in the immediate vicinity of the proposed site were invited to listen and discuss the intended use of the land.
Commissioners, good afternoon. My name is Daeng Raab, Secretary of the Buddhist Association and the Sarasota Forest Monastery. I have filled out a speaker's card. About 4 years ago, a small group of us along the Sun Coast got together with the intent of founding a not-for-profit organization with a goal in mind to found a monastery, a Buddhist monastery, where we can all continue our practice. Our population stretches from about Bradenton down to Punta Gorda. So we look for a spot fairly central to most of the population. And what we were looking for is a place of tranquility, yet accessibility. Tranquility in a forested setting, accessibility somewhere where many of us who are getting up in years can easily get to without going out to the far reaches of Arcadia or beyond. So with that, we've been looking and pulling together funds to buy such a site. And we came across this site in Englewood after a number of years of searching, and we thought this might be the place. And so far, as we've expressed our intent to the neighborhood during the neighborhood workshop, and were welcomed, most warmly welcomed by the neighbors, we thought definitely this is the place.
It became immediately apparent that a Buddhist monastery on the site would be most welcomed in Englewood. As a result, the second 2 meetings, first with the County Zoning Commission, and finally with the Board of County Commissioners, went very well. There were no objections to having a forest monastery in the midst of Englewood. In October 2015, 10 months after beginning the process, zoning of the land was changed for use by a religious organization. Before closing the real estate transaction, BACF decided to reincorporate as Sarasota Forest Monastery, or SFM. SFM became the owner of 8.7 forested acres. Since acquiring the land, several monks of the Thai forest tradition have come to spend various amounts of time in Englewood. Because there are no permanent structures on SFM grounds, the community has continued to rent a house close to the site as a monk's residence. At the same time, the SFM Board of Directors continues to work with land development people and seek permits from the county to begin the construction of a kuti to properly house a monk or 2. Detailed plans for the site development received approval by the county. The next step is to both raise sufficient funds and get approval from county officials to begin a phased construction on the site.
A couple years ago, I put on a program at the Open Studio, which is close to where the monastery is. This is to educate the people here in Englewood and surrounding areas about Buddhism and about the monks. I had so many people coming up to me when the monastery first got started, asking questions about what were the alms rounds, what were the men in the brown robes, and there were so many things going on, so question and answer period was necessary. The Open Studio, which gave us permission to put on a little program. We had John and Daeng Raab there to monitor and translate any ideas. The monks also explained. I gave out everyone pencil and paper to write down their questions, which was really spectacular to hear just the novice people asking these things. 129 people showed up for this event on a Tuesday, 2 o'clock, in the very hot weather. This was outstanding.
Come in my life and learn how to meditate. All my friends I'm talking to, they're just happy to have the monasteries here.
I'm so happy that what I live in here for 35 years, and all of a sudden, have a monk come and pass my house, and I can offer the food for the monk. It's just like a blessing for me.
The greatest thing about the Sarasota Forest Monastery is bringing peace, unity, and tranquility to the Englewood area. Everything is just wonderful, and it's such a blessing.
I was searching for a monastery in Thai forest tradition, and I came across Sarasota Forest Monastery, and I've learned that they were trying to make the buildings and meditation halls and monks' residence. They were trying to accumulate enough funds to do all these projects. I hope that pretty soon the project will become successful and people in the area will have a monastery in a Thai forest tradition that is accessible for them.
And when they first started, I don't think too many people kind of understood what they were doing, And so I made sure that I got, put some food in their bowl. But then the longer they were here, I would catch up with them. It's like, oh, you got lots of food in your bowl. And it would be like full. I think people finally started to catch on. And they had a nice article in the paper, but the community just really kind of taken them in. And they're just part of who we are now. They're just part of us. So. Well, I'm a Buddhist. I was a Buddhist before they came, and I'm Mahayana, which is a different, it's kind of a different path. But so I understood what they were doing and how important.
So on Saturdays at 3 o'clock, we have a group of people who get together at the house that the monastery is renting. We practice meditation and we listen to a Dhamma talk, and we do some chanting every Saturday. And we have a small but devoted group of people who are genuinely interested in learning and practicing meditation and learning about the Buddhist teachings.
I am subject to aging. Aging is unavoidable.
I find it meaningful to come here because to have a serious place to practice has been my reason, and to be practicing with other practitioners and to have a monk in presence who's actually giving a little Dharma talk and to do the chanting and to just strengthen my own practice. That's why I come here. And that's what's been meaningful for me, is because it's a way to deepen my own practice and to have a community of people around that are like-minded. So I'm very thankful to have the community here. I hope it continues to grow. And I would like to see longer, more sitting opportunities. Yeah, because right now it's just once a week. But even to have, like even weekend retreats, things of that nature. Because right now in Florida, in Venice, you have to drive far away to have that opportunity. And it would be just so nice to have it close here, more and more.
Buddhism, or the practice of Buddhism, of the forest monk way, or vipassana, is spreading slowly but surely. People want to get a taste of the true Dhamma. But at the same time, the practice is different from the monks to lay people. Use the facility here for, maybe when the bad weather, but for the practice, I use the forest anyway. Whether it's hot or cold, I still use it. If it's too extreme, then I would come into the house. I prefer using the wood, so I use the wood whenever I can. Some nights I spend part of the night in the wood, then come back in the morning. But if it's out of the rain retreat time, then I can spend the time in there 24 hours, 7 days.
My name is Daeng Raab. I'm one of those who spearheaded the founding of Sarasota Monastery, Forest Monastery. The intention at SFM is to have a monastery in the Thai forest tradition. At this point, SFM is open to monks from either a Mahanikai or Thamayunikai, or as Prajan Chayasaro has said recently, Thamayut order. In the past 2 years, SFM has had several monks temporarily staying for the rain retreat. And it's much joy for all of us. The location of SFM is in the village of Englewood. It's in a very quiet but yet supportive for the monastery. Monks can go on daily alms round, and enough people to participate, support the Bintabat. And also the local people have very much interest into meditation practice, and are very curious in the Buddhist teaching. The property of SFM is in the subtropical virgin forest. However, there is more room for planting more trees after the necessary buildings are constructed. We hope to find some monks in the forest tradition to more permanently stay and to guide the community in much needed developing their practice. Thank you very much.